It was a thumping result for the Greens. There is no doubt about that. Historic by-election victory, and Labour battered into third place behind Reform. We'll get some detail from a Labour side of this. Sebastian Salek with us in a moment. First, Councillor Martin Abrams, Green Party Lambeth. Martin, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Ian.
Nice to have you with us. Congratulations to your party. I mean, it was an incredible win. It was also a sizable win as well, nearly 4,500 above the second place. Not a seat the Greens expected to win. I think it was 125th or something on the hit list. So trebles all round for the winning side. In this case, of course, it was the Green Party. What do you put that down to as a Green politician yourself? What do you sense is going on there? Was it Hannah Spencer or was it the Green Party?
I mean, I think it was a combination of both, and thanks for inviting me on, Ian. I mean, what we've seen in Gorton and Denton, it's not just seismic; it is earth-shattering. The result, because this was the Green Party's 127th target seat. And if this is repeated at the next general election, it would mean the Greens would win over 100 seats. Wow. You know, if that swing went the same way as what we saw last night, and you know, the candidate Hannah Spencer, who was an incredible candidate, you know, a local plumber who is clearly a grafter, and you know, just speaks like normal people, and I think that's what connected with people in Gorton and Denton, because she's from the area, she's lived in the area, she works in the area, you know, she's working class, she's a plumber, and now she's going to be a parliamentarian. So you know, the politics of hope just absolutely crushed the politics of fear and hatred peddled by Reform and the Labour Party.
It's interesting that it has divvied up like that. I do wonder, and look, this is not exclusive to the Greens or any particular party, when we see results that were not predicted. Once in a while these by-elections come along and, you know, there's a sort of, wow, how did Labour took it off the Tories took it off the Lib Dem, whatever it is. I mean, could this be not to in any way diminish someone's victory? It's a democracy, and Hannah Spencer won it quite clearly and convincingly as well. But could it be a blip? If you look at, you know, she got a big vote from the Muslim community. For many people, that's fine. If Muslims feel more comfortable with her, they have exactly the same right as anybody else. But would they not be a little mystified with some of the other policies that the Green Party have beyond Gaza, LGBTQ, legalising drugs, goodness knows what else? That wouldn't sit very well with many of the people in that particular cohort, would it?
I mean, the Greens just won an election there. All you need to do, Ian, is go on Google and search for Green Party policies. So, you know, I think to categorise this as, you know, as you know, an election that was won with, you know, inverted commas, conservative-leaning voters in a particular community, is kind of leaning towards sort of dog whistle politics in a way. You know, Hannah's campaign was run on the politics of hope and change, with a local person standing up for their community, you know, living side by side with communities from all backgrounds, you know, standing up for the working class, something the Labour Party has completely rejected under the absolutely disastrous leadership of Keir Starmer. And this won't be a blip, Ian. As long as Keir Starmer is leader of the Labour Party, the Green Party are going to continue to gain massively from his politics. You know, the Labour Party has spent the first 19 months of government obsessing and worrying about Reform UK, trying to out-reform Reform UK with, you know, utterly disgraceful and divisive policies. You know, I remember the speech that Starmer made about the island of strangers. But what this by-election result has shown is that actually the real threat to Labour is from the Green Party, and they cannot put that divisiveness, those disgraceful politics that Keir Starmer has championed, back in the bottle. And you know, hundreds of thousands of people are flocking to the Green Party. We've got over 200,000 members now. We're a mass membership party. We can get 2,000 people out knocking doors in Gorton and Denton on polling day, and that is going to be replicated across the country. And there is going to be an even massive, an even bigger result on May the 7th at the local elections, when the Greens are going to take councils across England and make
possibly
big inroads in Wales and in Scotland as well. So this isn't an anomaly. The Green Party are essentially replacing Labour as the party that stands up for working class people, that champions hope over fear. And Keir Starmer is basically finished.
Did you shed a little bit of a tear, though, Martin, for the Conservatives? They came in, of course, fourth, 706 votes. They lost their deposit. Even a hardened lefty like yourself must have had just a little moment for the Blues.
Well, Ian, this is the thing. I think this is one of the reasons why Reform lost, because people can see that Conservative politicians are basically being welcomed with open arms into Reform UK. We've got Suella Braverman, we've got Robert Jenrick. These are the politicians that were rejected by the electorate basically 19 months ago and dumped in the general election. And now Reform UK are parading them about like they're something new and fresh.
But they did do rather well. I mean, they were on your tail there, weren't they? I mean, the bookmakers were saying, look, this could be Reform, it could be Green. I mean, yes, it was a 4,400 more votes going to Hannah Spencer than Matt Goodwin, but they were both up there. Between them, they hoovered up everything.
I mean, come on, Ian. It was a moment of total humiliation for Matt Goodwin. He's a liberal academic turned hard right charlatan, and he's got no connection to the area. I'm from Tameside. I know that area.
I think he's got a connection to the area.
I think he delivered pizza. I think he delivered pizzas there at some point.
People in Gorton will always need pizzas. I mean, thank goodness for Matt Goodwin.
I mean, he lives in Hertfordshire. He's got no connection to the area.
But that's not that unusual, is it?
He was parachuted in, spreading Reform UK's fear and division.
But he's not a charlatan because you disagree with him.
Into a constituency that has completely rejected, and I want to make a big shout out to my hometown of Manchester for rejecting that type of politics, and and welcoming the politics of Hannah Spencer and hope and change. And we're going to see that replicated again. What we need is a few more by-elections, which may or may not happen. The Green Party will be ready and will be winning more and more as time goes on.
Well, you alluded to it there, Martin. I mean, the 7th of May is only 10 weeks away. Can you quite believe it's only 10 weeks away? And that could be absolute car crash territory for the current government, that's for sure. Martin, thank you for your time, sir. Really appreciate it. Councillor Martin Abrams from the Green Party, Lambeth, that's where he represents. Sebastian Salek is a Labour councillor, Waltham Forest, and commentator. Sebastian, it was not the night that the Labour Party wanted, and they've had a shocker on two fronts, really, or maybe three, but certainly being beaten by another left-wing party, the Greens, but also being beaten by Reform UK. This is a disaster for Labour.
Well, do you know what? I was weirdly, I wouldn't say relieved, but I did think it was going to be a lot worse.
You lost?
Well, no.
How can you be relieved that you lost? Thank goodness for that. We lost. We got absolutely thumped.
No, it was a poor choice of word. I thought it was going to be worse than it was. That's what I'm trying to say.
All right.
And the reason for that is look at the last month that the government has had. It's been really tough, and you have to look at the context when you're going into a by-election. What I'm more relieved about, and I do mean it this time, is the result for Reform, because this is a binary. I don't care who came first, second or third. The point is Reform lost. And of what Martin said, the one point that I will agree with him on is that Matt Goodwin went into this with a lot of conviction. He really thought he was going to win it. And this is a man who quite often likes to say, I know how the people think. This is what everybody is saying. And he was roundly rejected in a democratic exercise.
Well, he came second. He got more votes than Labour. So whatever message he was imparting is more popular than the one you were imparting.
Well, again, I don't really care about what order people came in. I only care about who won.
But would you acknowledge that Matt Goodwin is more popular than Labour?
No, because this was the weirdest election where everybody was voting.
He got more votes, though.
Yes, I would acknowledge he got more votes.
So he's more popular.
No, I don't think that's quite the case.
That's usually how it works, though, isn't it?
Well, maybe, but I mean, you know what this country's like. It's a fast past the post system, and often there's quite a strong tactical voting operation. And I think this was a real case in point. You had so many incentives flying around, lots of people voting for parties they wouldn't usually vote for. We got a Green MP, for God's sake. When does that ever happen? So it shows that people are making unorthodox choices. Now, look, I hope for the people of Manchester, Gorton and Denton, that Hannah Spencer does turn out to be a good MP. I hope that they're served well.
Well, I think she actually would be a good constituency MP for taking her politics out of it. I think she's, we often come across these cases. I had a lefty mate that used to vote for the Tory because they were really good constituency MP. So that does sometimes happen. So I don't dispute that. But I mean, the Green Party being the face now of the left, that's a problem for your party, isn't it? It's a problem. I don't mean your party. It's a problem for your party as well. But your party, it's very confusing. They've got such a wrong name over there at Corbyn HQ. But it is a problem for Labour because this is the new left for many, the Greens.
Look, I think all threats are a problem for Labour. You should never rest on your laurels, and you should never assume that anybody is not going to be a challenge to you. What concerns me, though, is that, to me, at least, the Greens and Reform are mirror images of each other, because neither of them are in government, and their job is to say things, to try and be seductive and attract voters with their promises. They don't have to do things. Labour does, because they're in government. That's the reason they've taken a hammering, is because they are actually being tested. Everybody else is just words, and we have no way of proving whether those words carry any weight or not.
Does Keir Starmer, or can Keir Starmer take anything away from this, bearing in mind we're building up to the May elections? Keir Starmer might be a lot of things to people who don't like him, but the one thing he's not is stupid. He will know that there is an absolute car crash coming his way. Can he do anything between now and then to stop a repeat of what happened last night in Gorton?
Yeah, look, I think in May, it's about local elections. It's not about what you think of Gaza. It's about who empties your bins. And so I think the challenge really is to make that local case. And in areas where they already have Labour councillors who are going for re-election, it's about standing on your record and showing what you've done and showing what another 4 years will get voters. And for new councillors, it's a different story, isn't it? It's about showing how you would do things differently. And that does involve making promises. But if you can evidence that, if you can back it up with credible sources, then that's the best way to play a local election.
Just a final point, some breaking news. Reform UK have reported cases of family voting to the police and the Electoral Commission after they, of course, came second. Nigel Farage has just made this announcement. Look, you don't like reform. I understand that. You're a Labour man, Sebastian, but would you support a police investigation into this?
I would follow the Electoral Commission on this. They are the body that organises elections. If they think that is what needs to happen, then that is what should happen. What I was disappointed to see was Reform jumping on this straight away and linking it to what they call sectarianism, which is essentially Muslims voting. And I thought that was a really, really sour way for Reform to handle losing this election, which they thought they were going to win. I would have hoped that they would have had a little bit more grace, but that's just me.
On that point, Sebastian, as ever, thank you, Sebastian Salek. He's a Labour councillor for Waltham Forest and a commentator. Thank you to him. It is